Hello and welcome. It is the 9th day of April, 2019. My name is Derek. Welcome to the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. Let's start off within the gold market and price action in at around 1,306, 1,307. Spending several days in this area of low volatility following three consecutive red days down, with the last one being the main event, we'll call it. It was a retest of this previous level after it had, well, it was 4 days, with the main event being the day before, or the biggest move. The lower high rally, which matched this, it also kind of made like a head and shoulders-ish kind of pattern. And technically, never really even went down to the neckline other than this one brief moment in here, although it was close. That's why when you look at all these types of patterns, sometimes you're like, okay, I want to see that clear break situation. It's just with the high move here, this is just going to make the 18 flatten. If it goes higher, well, that'll be progression working towards two levels of this upper range, the 1321, which has been the two times where it was resistance and the time it had the failed breakout. But the failed breakout, as of now, has not had that fast move lower, just a long amount of days, just of course going up, going back down. Therefore, let's take a look at this to finish it off on the short term and then the more longer term. So, shorter term on the 4 hour. There's that waterfall slide down. There's the band flattening out. The single move. This is a traditional move I've talked about that crypto seem to be, or Bitcoin gets a lot more of these the last couple of years anyway, year and a half, 2 years. And that is the failed breakdown in here. Then it comes back, and it just sets up that big move beforehand. So whenever you see a situation here with several periods above the 18, then that's a bull market. That's a good run. And it did happen to precede this on the current 4 hour period, getting out above this level of resistance on this current one. So just for this analysis, I'm going to put a line in here, shorten it out to the single hour term time frame. And when it hit that move, it came back down, took several of hours. Staying within this correctionary move, small chance to get above this in here, didn't do it. But during the run from here to the breakout, it supported the lows, which meant that it never did go down and resist this area. It supported it. And then it came down here, but quickly leaving. Same thing on this period on the 22-hour timestamp. This one here, another quick move lower. So the fact that it spent some decent amount of time in here above it, which was an upgrade from this, and it didn't do any of it down here, that was an interesting situation. Now, several periods, three, I think, 1, 2, 3, after the two green move up, establishing more shorter term resistance even below even this one here, but getting above it now. That there's to me the very, very clear statement. Not a surprise if it does come back down that the 18 average would be good support, and it might not even need it, and this thing could just be ready to get going. It's 9:29 a.m. as I'm doing this, so therefore the traditional markets are just opening, hence the reason I'm doing it at this time. So when I'm done the silver, the SPY will already be live and ready to go. It'll open in 21 seconds. But next we're going to look at silver. Actually, the long term, I didn't do that yet. So in the long term time frame, we'll use I'm going to use the monthly for because that's the big one on gold. And this is that many hit level of resistance at the 1321, and it's now three periods just hanging in there within the 18 lows. So the real number getting out above is in the high 1300s. And when you're in the mid 1300s, it's in a huge, like, it'll be 20, $30 for the ready to get going. I would not be surprised if it has a very fast move on that break. If you see something very close to 1400, I think it's going to rip through the 1400 numbers. We'll see what happens, but that's usually what goes on in a situation like this. Moving on to silver, really relatively similar to gold, having this little level in here. And when it came down there, it barely broke down below this point in here. But yesterday's session and today's session, we were resisting the 18 lows, and we got into the band. Now we resist the 18 highs. That's enough for the band to flatten out. Getting above that, we got the next resistance at about a little over 15 and a half. short term on the 4-hour term time frame. Same sort of deal with the gold in here. And it was resisting and supporting this just perfectly. No real amazing bias. Downtrend went sideways, starting to go up. Now for like several periods in here, about half a dozen, showing, including this one as well, showing strength amongst the 18 highs. But what makes this period different from all the previous 5 is that it has made the new high as well. Our term, it kind of looks weird, but we get a good idea in here. Seeing this for today, if it can hold and stay above 15 in the area of, I mean, 15.25, I guess. Yeah, yeah, 15 and a quarter. If it can hold and stay above 15 and a quarter all day, if it's unable to break out, that's a beautiful sign heading forward, and probably it will increase the chance significantly of a decent break moving forward. Let's now move on to the SPY or the stock market in at 287, or probably about 2,000. I think it's 10 times for the S&P, around 2,870-ish. In that sense, as far as the market is going, or with not even caring about that ratio, just as far as what I'm seeing for the chart, because these numbers relatively, other than understanding what the volatility is not that important. Whether you're trading something that's 25, like a dollar, $200, or 2 million, you're buying how much worth? Yeah, that's what the number to me. It doesn't matter. It's all about okay, 20% here and all that type of stuff. Moving on, but up well over the 18 as it got above it on January the 7th. Stayed above it for pretty much close to 2 months. Small break below, small move up, small 18 test, and a small break higher. All of these very tiny moves with all of these gaps. Just, I mean, here we are. Like while it was away, we seen this was looking to break out above this level of resistance. To me, this is annoying. All of these. Okay, this here, this here, this here. I guess we're gonna count this. We got this gap. We got this gap. I mean, this is just crazy. But anyway, that's what it is. When you start to look at the more longer term, like the monthly, it's going to look a little bit better now because, like here, there's an interesting gap move where it closed at 197 and 2/3 and it opened at 193.1. But there's only a few of those. Another one here where it closed the week at 203.87. It opened the week at 200 and a half. As the market plays out on the long term, this level where the green line's at is, well, that was the resistance in here. And there's our failed breakdown below this 18. Is this a pre-indicator for a large break above here? It very easily could be. If it does, unlike cryptos, markets and stocks go up slower than they go down. I wouldn't be surprised if there's any type of style of grinding its way up, continuing above this. We'll see what it does. However, a lot of people say it's overextended, and you know what? Well, definitely is. But the question is, when and how badly would a move bring this back down? Because if I can't go quarterly on here. I used to be able to, but not anymore. You had a big move from here to here, correction, big move, and repeat of that. So it's just a longer correction. Overall, this is the entire, starting in here, correction within this cycle. So this is a retest or a redo of this. This is another redo of this as far as price action. It pierced a bit more below. And then remake it back to this previous high. And now you're in a new cycle from this point. So we've been from this low without any real major corrections to so far this high. But you could have been saying back here, oh, the market is way overextended. And it was here, and it was here, all the way until it finally had its top. So maybe it's going to be soon. Maybe it's going to be one more, two more, four more legs higher. I don't know. But I do realize that we will have a correction at some point. But that some point could be 300, it could be 400, it could be 4,000, or even higher. Who knows? Okay, let's do this FinViz thing here. I mean, I look at Dow minus 231. I mean, that used to mean a lot, 0.88%, but there is a little bit of a difference in them. I don't see any top winners or losers, maybe because I need to refresh it. Volume, all this is 0, but percentage change. Let me just go to where I usually go. Okay, what do we got here? Let's do performance valuation. No. Okay, well, let's do overbought and oversold. What's Apple? Okay, well, that one's a big name. And then what are we going to do for oversold? And these are all in alphabetical order, so no, I'm going to go to top gainers and losers. I'm looking at market cap, 18 million, kind of low. So I think I'm going to go with this one in here, which is apparently a buy, but I just see the strong buy in here. I know it's only 8, but you know what? If you're just trading like a couple $1,000, which is actually pretty low stakes and almost not a good play with rake fees, that just drives me crazy with the high rake. See, I think I did CRN before. I don't know. Any other strong buys? H. Let's just go to the 24% of PAHAS. Okay, it's overbought, most certainly. Do I consider it a strong buy? I consider it a strong sell. I'm a little bit different than other people. But what happens if it goes up more? It's another strong sell. I mean, you don't sell everything. At least I don't. Weekly chart. After it got going, this is a relatively new one. Did a bunch of nothing, goes down. To me, these were where the buying would be. Maybe selling up here, buying in here. And then this has just been 4 weeks of fun selling periods. Daily chart. Go from 276. That's very good volatility. Almost certainly it's a strong. I mean, it was a better buy as it was starting to leave the 18 here. Then you can start considering your selling. But I don't know why it's a strong buy at 16 when I'm sure they were saying, oh, 290, 286, strong sell. No, oh, strong buy now. Oh, yeah, way to buy high, sell low, I'm guessing. I don't understand their trading game. I really, really don't. But if it's a strong buy, it must be their opinion to be a strong buy. And as it plays out, I mean, if I were to sell now at 16, where would I be looking to buy back? Well, it's been going straight up. I don't think, I honestly, in a spot like this, don't think I'd be buying back to about 7. It would have been like, okay, let's just assume there's none of this gap crap that has blind move in here, literally. Okay, so here say my last buy would have been at 3. So I'll put a seller in at 450. Sell up here at say 8. Maybe I buy it back, probably not. So I'm selling again at say 10, 11, selling again here at 16. I'll put a new seller in at 21, 22. And I don't need to buy until, like, I'm even thinking between 4 and 5:30, but I would upgrade because of the sell. This is where I would have been before. I would have upgraded to like maybe in here. And if I sell at 20, I'll upgrade to like 8, so on and so forth. Okay, now let's go and check out that top loser. Probably going to be a strong sell. I'm going to guess. Oh, all these are sells. Really? You want to sell them all when they're already down this massive amount. 26% down. You can't see the, well, you might be able to see most of it. It's Z-SAN, Z-S-A-N. Or in the American terms, Z-S-A-N. Well, through a lot of my life, I used to say both of them back and forth, and I pretty much just say Z now. Maybe if I move, I might change it, but no. Some things are just weird. Color, we have an U in ours. And stuff like poutine and a toque. I was very surprised that you never heard of a toque. So this is a strong sell in their book. Okay, well, it's not a buy. Might not be the worst of sells, but it's kind of late, meaning as it was starting to show weakness in here in the low fours, you can see it's starting to break down. But then as it gets up each penny lower, it's not as good of a sell. And then it starts to become a buy at some point. I don't think I'd want any part of buybacks because these were great. I'm sure you said these were buys. I would have said sell in here. But my buyback, when I'm selling in here at like the 5-ish number, even when I'm selling here and I see how the market reacts. Now, if I sold at 640, could I buy back at this lower range? Yes, maybe I did. But if I were to have bought back in this 4.5, even 5 area, then I see if this is going to break down, I'd be looking for 61.8% from this high to this low, and usually just in this area here. So to me, it's neither a buy or a sell in my book. It's a wait. Wait for the price action to go down to 3 for buyback, as obviously this was selling. But let's just take a look at more longer term. This is, oh wow, this is okay. I mean, it's got potential just from what I'm seeing in a downtrend. Why does it got potential? Well, this was 369 and this was 24. Holy crap. I mean, how many cryptos go from 369 Satoshi to 2369 and then back down to where it came from, then down to 190 Satoshi up to 670? And well, this is a pretty decent candidate for buying low and selling high. And here, this low goes down to 10, up to 67. Fantastic volatility. Okay, well, let's just take a look back at its history before this. Well, that's all of it, I guess. Question would be, I'm going to have to download this data for the buy low, sell high. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, and this is easy, I can get this on sites like Yahoo Finance and any of those other type of sites. I'll get this crossing against the dollar and just see how well one would do with the market going from $200 right now down to 369, or losing about what, 657, 60 times its value. But when you're having moves going from this to this, this to this, and even this to this, even though the last one's not the greatest, although this could potentially go up to like 14 and then pull down to a dollar. Okay, I want to take a look at a couple more. Let's just see here, because this one was interesting, but I'm going to write this down on Notepad. And this one here is code ZGNX. And it's a very strong sell. Well, it's a strong sell, it says. I don't think they have that extra adjective, but let's take a look at it. Wow, strong sell. Well, wouldn't a strong sell have already happened? I mean, you should have already had selling opportunities, because looking at this on the daily, I mean, things got amazing, obviously, when it had this gap, which was just, I mean, this was the strongest sell. I mean, this was an amazing day if you own this. You sell, and then you pretty much do nothing. Maybe you might have hit a sell hit that you missed before in this February. But there we go, another loading of selling in here. Volatility is okay. And then when you're selling at 58, maybe you get one pullback in here. And the problem is with this, it's probably not a buy unless you sold up here and you're okay with volatility going from like over 50 to under 40. Realistically, for me, I would have easily been missing the sell order, because I probably, with this previous high in at around 60, if I were to have sold up here and bought in this point in here, I probably would have put a sell order for about 59 something. and it missed it by a few dollars. Okay, this one, if you do the buy low, sell high on this, holy jeez, wow, this is interesting. Amazing overall volatility for its moves because you get a lot of not. The market moves very well, withstanding, of course, its volatility. And it's pretty decent for what it's worth, a lower end of $8.10. And now it's been congesting and staying and holding in this part for a decent amount of time. That if this thing, maybe it bottoms here and it gets going for a leg higher, maybe it goes back down in here and that might be a great buy. I don't know. But realizing that it goes down, you buy, up, you sell, and you have spots go from 10 up to 38, back down to 10, up to 20. There's a lot of profit potential there. And PNR is a big sell, so let's just take a look at that one as well. As far as its long-term movements are concerned, it's a stock, and I would think it has standard volatility if the '09 lows are at 12, the highs at 52. Sell here? No, your buy start. How do you sell? I mean, my strategy is, I guess it's unique, but the way I look at it is, I mean, I had to have sold something in the 40s, you would think. Oh, this volatility is terrible. I mean, if I'm selling here and I'm buying back, that's 10%. Oh, this volatility is terrible. Okay, I need to look at one more. Let's look at one of the ones going up, one of those buys. And Faro is a strong buy. It just broke this level of resistance. I think the strong buy on on this breakout would have been closer to 49.5. And as it goes higher, then it becomes to the point of don't buy to then it starts to become a sell level. On the weekly chart, we're looking at something that does have the potential to go further. I can see for myself, if I'm looking at this now for the first time and I want to get into an entry, I hate the fact that it's not at like closer to 50 where it's just a noticeable break. Now it's even a larger noticeable break. But in shortening out the time frame, these are the situations where I'm not surprised if it does keep going, yeah. But I'm also at the able point where if I'm looking for a setup to buy, I would look for, okay, instead of paying around 52, is there a possibility that this can go below 49 and come back to where it came from in here on this 4-hour time frame? And that's also, again, where I like to just simplify it and let the market do what it does. And if I'm buying here at 43, maybe the sell orders come in. But this to me overall, when I look at its long-term view now, it's got a lot of potential moving forward, obviously, as since this 2002 bottom, it handled the 2008 fall relatively well. And every correction along the way has, well, this one was a higher low from here. This one is showing that maybe we've had this next one. And if this is the bottom and it gets above the 18 highs and moves forward, then it's got a lot of potential. So as a long-term point of view, it's not the worst of buys, I guess you could say. And when you're looking at 52 going to 48, and you're looking for the big moves, again, we're doing monthly analysis, so you shorten it out to the daily for entry point. It's not much of a difference just getting a 10% move when you're overall looking to go for this to, well, where would I be looking at? Just a quick look at a target. Probably about 3x from here, maybe? Whatever. And I'm done with this video because it's now like 25 minutes plus. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.